My thing isn't prove myself or show this or show that. The best thing for me right now is to be on a team that wins.
Mohamed Carlaquan Damala Bamba, aka Mo Bamba, born May 12, 1998. Today's feature is on his third NBA team heading into his sixth season. Through 3 games beginning this year, he's appeared in one of them for a total of 1 minute 32 seconds and recorded a block and no other stats. In 2018, no one would have guessed this would be the case when Mo Bamba was considered one of the year's top prospects that had so much juice he could tell the Memphis Grizzlies not to draft him, as he'd rather not have anything to do with their team. Of course, they didn't and selected Jaren Jackson Jr, who became an All-Star in Memphis, Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time All-Defensive First Team, and twice led the league in block shots. He's also helped the Grizzlies become one of the more promising teams in the NBA before they self-destructed and are now 0-3 on the season. Mo Bamba was taken 6th in that draft by the Orlando Magic and played at least 50 games just twice in his career and failed to live up to the hype surrounding him up until they traded him early 2023. When Mo Bamba measured at the draft combine, he broke all the records physically set before him by guys like Rudy Gobert for having the longest wingspan and the likes of Dwayne Wade, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall in 3 quarter-court sprints. When you hear the term unicorn thrown around, this is exactly the physical specimen you hear about and NBA teams salivate to have on their roster. Add to that, Mo Bamba, for his size, could shoot with the best of them when he's on. With some added development, mainly ball handling and weight gain, surely this could be your next great positionless player, right? Wrong, because Mo Bamba unfortunately never added any of those things and now looks closer to being out the league than the NBA All-Star and franchise changer many had hoped for. You ask an Orlando Magic fan about their experience watching Mo Bamba over the years, and it's a combination of him not having a high enough motor, as in energy during the games to perform, his inconsistency, or his no-show of desire over the years to want to get better. That means adding the simple things he can control, like muscle to his frame that could help him guard bigger centers down low, or more energy off pick and roll situations to stay in front of guards long enough not to be a liability. If nothing else, fans mainly wanted Bamba to do what he was most expected to, which is block shots and provide mismatch on offense with his shooting ability at a high level, and he's been top 10 in blocks once in his career, and his shooting leaves much to be desired, but to his defense has improved. Nevertheless, Mo Bamba, the guy who told NBA teams not to draft him, at this point is officially a bust. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Mo Bamba is a 7-foot center born in New York City to parents both from the Ivory Coast of West Africa. He went to school in New Hampshire, where he was immediately a star with great potential to take his talents all the way to the NBA. Never much the scorer, Bamba did excel on defense, averaging over 6 blocks a game as a junior, after transferring to Westtown School in Pennsylvania, winning a state championship. As a senior, Mo shot up the charts as high as the number 2 prospect, winning another state title, averaging 12.8 points, 9.3 rebounds, and 3.4 blocks per game, becoming a McDonald's All-American. He chose Texas over Duke and Kentucky, considered a one-and-done prospect, which he was for Texas, going 19-15 and losing in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Bamba didn't disappoint, averaging nearly 13 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.7 blocks per game before declaring for the 2018 NBA draft. Stunt number 1 should have went to Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. became exactly what Mo Bamba was supposed to, and a lot of that was because he was in Memphis and Mo was not. I can understand why Bamba didn't want to go to Memphis in 2018, because the year before, the Grizzlies were the second worst team in the entire NBA. They were in complete rebuild mode after the Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Mike Conley era, After Randolph left and signed in Sacramento, and just before Marc Gasol was traded to Toronto in 2019, Conley was still held on to as the franchise point guard, but only until they knew they had a better option, which they got in 2019, the year after they would have had Mo Bamba. That was Ja Morant, the now franchise player that changed the trajectory of the Grizzlies and most importantly made life a lot easier for Jaren Jackson Jr. Memphis made the playoffs in Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant's second year together, and the second round the year following, and up to that point were on track as one of the better young cores on the rise if Ja could stay healthy and away from the firearms, and Dillon Brooks picked his battles more wisely. Mo Bamba would have been able to flourish next to Morant and be eased into his development. Matter of fact, he would have probably been forced into it with all the light the Grizzlies had on them, finally a playoff contending team, and having a young, exciting second coming of D Rose and Allen Iverson. Instead, Bamba was stuck in Orlando, where they've gotten worse by the year, missing the playoffs entirely in Bamba's last 3 seasons a part of the team. Expectations were never for Orlando to contend for anything by season's end, and their players recently have all either digressed or stayed the same as far as being in an environment they could be developed into their potential. This environment, I believe, has effects on players and how motivated they are coming into the season and how they prepare for each game. With Mo's already low motor, he just disappeared by the season in Orlando and struggled to even stay on the floor. Memphis would have been a great place to start for Bamba, who, with the same skill set as Jackson coming into the league, allowed Jackson that opportunity instead. Stunt number 2, consistency issues. Another glaring issue with Mo Bamba is his inability to be consistent in anything for an entire season. He'd have games like the 32 points, 7 threes, and 3 blocks versus Joel Embiid and the Sixers during the 21-22 season, or 5 points just a game before and 0 points 2 games after his explosion. Bamba is also an adequate shot blocker, but he usually gets moved out of position for blocks by stronger bigs or doesn't always make the right decision on switches onto guards, allowing a quick 3 or hesitation and easy drive to the rim. He also averages over 6 fouls per 36 minutes because his anticipation on blocks isn't always where it needs to be, or he'll be teased by smart defenders into a silly foul and back to the bench he goes. But most disturbing is his inconsistency to give full effort on the court, as more times than not he seems dejected when things don't go his way, and for the next few plays he's pretty much useless. He showed the potential to be a solid stretch big in 21-22, taking over 4 threes a game and making 38% of them on the year, but that was the only season he was having that kind of year. Before that, he was less than expected the 3 seasons prior and only played 40 games for Orlando the season after before they completely gave up on him. The shooting inconsistencies, the defensive improvements all could be worked on, but inconsistencies in his effort and desire to be better were dominant much too often in his career, leading the way to him being a bust. Stunt number 3, became less than worth it. Overall, Mo Bamba's biggest growth stunt was him showing over the years further investment in him, at least for the Magic and Lakers, and more than likely Philadelphia, wouldn't be worth the reward. He soured his time in Orlando with 2 different suspension situations coming within months of each other for leaving the bench to approach the other team in fights, one in full-out brawl or aggressive hugging with Austin Rivers, and the other for sprinting from the other side of the court to approach the Pistons bench in a fight that didn't warrant extra backup. When that's not the case, he's held out of games, recovering from injuries, playing less than 50 games 3 of his 5 seasons with a career-high 71 games in 21-22, where he had his best year of 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks, good for 7th in the NBA. That's slightly the Mo Bamba many were hoping for until it was evident that most likely wouldn't be the case. Seeing Mo Bamba's physical development over the years can also be discouraging, as it seems he doesn't care about being taken advantage of on defense because he's not adding muscle and strength to his unicorn frame or studying defensive schemes well enough that he doesn't make careless mistakes that keeps him in foul trouble, which is a direct reflection of a lack of effort to be patient for defensive opportunities. All this has made Mo Bamba one of the most disappointing picks in the lottery in 2018, which is saying a lot because there have been some huge disappointments. The measurements are there, the talent somewhere inside is there, but being worth waiting to see those take shape may not be worth it for NBA teams much longer. All in all, Mo Bamba is close to his last chances in the NBA. Some believe if he's waived by the Sixers and not picked up by another team, Mo might just retire altogether. That's how low his desire to play basketball or improve seems to be. Either way, the clock is ticking fast on his chances of not being one of the biggest busts of the 2010s. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.